Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Man to Man. I'm your host, Hugo Ribatika. This is the show where we talk about the issues that men should be talking about, but more often than not aren't. And remember, we leave no man behind. Our focus today is a conversation with men around those men that are husbands to rather prominent women or prominent figures, if you will. And with me in studio today is Ngoni Dzashe Munetsiwa. Ngoni, thank you so much for coming onto the show. Now, your claim to fame, if you will, is that you are the husband of one rather famous woman, Madam Boss.
Yes.
Talk to us about how you and Tyra met.
Okay, me and Tyra, we met in 2012. I remember I used to stay in town, CBD, Harare. I had a flat where I was staying, and Tyra was also looking for accommodation. And I was also planning to relocate from that flat.
Yeah.
So what happened is I had a friend of mine, Wandaga CM Mwachi Chimbogaram flat, and then Tyra came and met my friend. I said, I'm looking for a place to stay.
Yeah.
And my friend was like, no, let me call the owner of this flat. And my friend called me, then I went and we talked, we discussed about a still a deal. Then from there, Tyra got, that friend of yours is kind of cute. She's the one who actually initiated.
Is it?
No, but I got a number. Then she started calling. We started talking. Then from there,
That's interesting, though.
Yeah.
So, you were by your phone when, of course, you didn't think she was too forward, because for many men, we want to chase. We like the idea of the chase.
Yes, of course. Yeah, no. And initially, Pandakatombo some sort and she it's time I was single. So now I'm going you know how it is. Sometimes it's not always good. You know, you have to chase, yes, but sometimes you know yes, then do to wira mskwanda kwacho. So now I'm going cannot be munatoribo. And I'm going see a jackpot chain and let me go for it.
Yeah, you're right. She is indeed a jackpot. I mean, we are going to talk about her successes that she's enjoyed over the years. But just take us through what it was that convinced you this woman should be your wife.
Okay. When I met Tyra, me personally, I believe every man can assess a woman. Panama traits are no one in that woman. It's the woman that raised that person.
Yeah.
Cannot amaivako. Sorry to say. So Tyra, to me, she was someone in this rural background, of which me nini personally in the same background. And in age damono are hardworking, a woman are industrious, a woman who not ano respect her. You know, as a man, we know that respect. Yeah. So Tyra could do all that. But again, I was the camp of Fambizana for about 4 or 5 months. Chumbaina naye kumba uchiona munaruka mbeni vakadzi vanozvita kana vachida kupinda mumba akashimanya manya akaenda mukitchen achibata bata achididi. And my mother, signature yamai ndo yakakosha. She was impressed that anotanga munhu right because ndaona kuti anomanya and anoziva anoshanda and anoshanda zveshuwa. Tyra is hardworking, so zvakandi attracta more izvozvo because inini ndiri munhu naturally ndinofarira zvokushanda zvokutodaro. So pakandakaenda naye kumba ndichipiwa after approval namai, then zvakabva zvasimba CV rabva simba rake ndangoti why not vanangoti rega ndinotora munhu ndise mukipakitchen.
So you dated for how many months before unodusa?
5 months.
Ungwatopedza kudaro
kwatinotopedza because time yacho ndandati kureiwo futi. So tese tatamachuwa zvotaita kuziva zvatiri kuda.
So how old were you?
I'm turning for this. I'm 39.
How old were you there then?
I was 28.
28, okay.
Yeah.
So Magenza?
Yeah, we're the same age.
And you don't think that's an issue? Would the Murumina Mkadzi are the same age when they marry?
Yeah, for some it's an issue because there's an element here respect. Actually, Kadzi naturally vano mature earlier than Warume. But in myself, I think ndine tone brains angu ndega because ndichitaura naye I can tell no, I think I can control this person. because mentally ndenchiona kuti maybe ndendiri kumberi kwake in terms of you, if it's okay with you. Some they say it's just a number, yes, but for some it's an issue.
Is it about control though? I mean, it almost seems like there's no equality. Do you want to control or do you want to lead?
Lead, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I used the wrong term.
All right.
Let me use the word lead. Yeah. So maturity, if it's on the same level, it can be a problem, because mukadzi akafila kuti in terms of maturity are above you, you can become less attractive to her. Yeah, and it's a big issue kana zvaitika in marriage. But for me entire, I think few months that afamba tese, I could tell with this woman, she respects me, number one, and also I'm also able to lead, and also in terms of maturity, I think
So you mentioned earlier Kuti Tyra has a rural background, and you found that attractive. Yeah. Obviously, because in many instances Timiogo roots are a lot more subservient than those that have been exposed. Yeah. How much of that has changed from 12 years ago, Pamagasangan, to now where she is a global figure? I mean, she's rubbing shoulders with some of the biggest names in Hollywood.
I cannot say Panisha change, but you know how it is when someone becomes famous. Panisha, of course, is on it let go. Like Panama habits, I'm not seeing. Of course, the Gumusha, Maramam Jita, the Gumusha Mama, Panisha, I'm not see, and you have to change, and also Mujifambra any time. So Panisha, you can to change, like. Vamwanoti murumant and if inangwa I don't prefer mukadzi andi tugamiri and inabasa nazo azvina problem. I don't have any problem, even akanditambidza kana takadi. Vamwanoti futi ina I don't have any problem ndikanobikawo mukitchen kana if she's busy kana kuti kana asirunzwa mushe, I can do that as a man. So there are a lot of things that zvaitika zvachinja in terms of iye mukatomona pane a lot of changes paari. She's also developing in a positive way. Because town, she knows how to dress, she knows how to speak, even communication wise. I think she's developing really better. So kumixa kwa nema big names like that, kukumpa confidence as a brand, and for me it's something that is positive.
So what work have you done, Semrumwa Tyra, who's found this woman, Mandidiga, with a rural background, who's now a star, right? So obviously that's a key question that you're going to answer when we're coming back. You're watching Man to Man on the show. Ngonizashe Netsiwa, who is the husband of Tyra, or rather Madam Boss, as many would know her. The show is Man to Man. We're back in a moment. Don't go away. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Man to Man. On the show today I have Ngonizashe Mnetsiwa, husband of Tyra Chikocho, popularly known as Madam Boss, Zimbabwean socialite and comedian. Before the break, Ngoni, we were talking about your marriage to Tyra, Madam Boss, the fact that she was a woman who came to you, or whom you met with a rural background. Yeah. The question is, you're a city boy. Yeah. What work have you done to upgrade your wife?
Okay, let me start by saying, as a marketing person, I think I've also helped her to understand the corporate world, and also to understand what a brand is and the importance of being a brand. So I've helped her a lot in terms of how to maybe relate with the corporate world, and also to understand maybe the dynamics in the industry. You know, the social media. It's not an easy area kupinda, especially the arts industry, considering kuti vakambotanga kumashure. Pani is like, I don't know whether it's stereotype, yekuti vanhu vanongofunga kuti arts munonesa for women because mune zvinhu zvakawanda zvinotaurika what when you're selling madeals musaina macontracts mukawana macontracts maendorsements vanhu vanotarisa the relationship that you have maybe nemuridzi wecompany kuti if you're a woman wazopiwa say this tender wadanana naye chichi. So me being present palife yaTyra from start zvakabatsira a lot of stuff, and of course people say a lot of stuff about my family, they say a lot of stuff about Tyra and myself because they know this brand. I think the foundation of the brand is family. Yes, so we worked as a family ndikamudevelopa Tyra to understand kuti social media vananongotaura, and what you need to do is to remain silent. Sometimes silence is golden, and as a brand you have a lot to lose paunotaura. You might say things zvinogona kuzokanganisa because most people vanotaura zvavanotaura on social media, they have nothing to lose. Saka iwewe as a brand even ukatukwa zvinenge zvichirwadza, it's better ucheme off camera. Don't go on social media to post your problems or your challenges or to respond to negativity, because sometimes it's not everything chiri negative chimwe chiri kukuhelpa kugrow as a brand, pamwe pacho uri kutogadzirisika as a brand. So you learn from what people say, and zvisina basa, you just let go. So I helped her to understand that, and now I think she's perfect. I got she master, and she's doing well.
So let's talk about you and social media, and to a very large extent being in the shadows of Madam Boss. And I use the term shadows because I knew of Madam Boss before I knew there was a Ngonizashi or a Mhofu. Right, and in a skit she'll talk about Mhofu. So in many instances, you will go around the city, and for people that don't know your Hamad Zako, for instance, wa Mhofu. But in this instance, Zurunzi Uji, wa Madam Boss, because people know her and she's a big figure. Has that been an issue for you to deal with?
No. Madam Boss brand to me, it's a, although it has a Madam Boss name, which relate to Madzimai, but it's a family brand because takaitanga is a family, and I think we are one of the pioneers in couple content in Zimbabwe. If you check takatotanga 2016 kuita couple content yakutrenda now, and vanhu vakawanda vakatozvionera kuti no, couple content actually inotrenda more kupfuura uri wega, and most people now vakushandisa couple content kutrenda, and they are doing well. So inini kana zvichitaurwa Madam Boss, I'm actually proud as a manager because ndine manager brand kubva 2016 to date, though ndakazotsvaga someone to help me because the brand is growing, and zvimwe pamwe pacho ndinoitawo pane mamwe other activities andinoitawo apart from the Madam Boss entertainment. We have other businesses that need kuside dzekuti dzinechida my attention, so I'm not always with Tyra because ndakamuguruma and she knows what to do and what to say, and also the manager is well trained akuziya zvekuita nebrand, so nini I can actually safely do other things. That's why I'm not really affected.
So but I'd imagine that the journey would have had some moments of difficulty, right? Because
Yeah.
And some of the comments that people or men will make about your wife could affect you, and even vamwana vachitokushora kana kukunyomba anditeka kuti unotongwa nemukadzi or so on. What are some of the things that people have said that were either inappropriate or that you felt
Yeah, a lot have been said. Mukaona kuti vanhu sada kutrend on social media, they use Madam Boss or they use Mhofu kuti vatrende, because ndakatoundestanda kuti if you are relevant, people will talk about you. The moment people stop talking about you, it means you are no longer relevant. So for me, if people continue saying, even if it's really negative, and hakuna negative publicity, that's what they say. But inini, yes, zvimwe zvino affected, to be honest, because unotaurirwa I want to say deal iri azodanana nemuridzi wekambani, you see how it is. Yet most of the deals, 3/4 of the deals, I'm the one anotoita sign my deals acho, ndindotoita my deals acho inini. saka nechitoziva kuti my haters anenge achida kudestroya because they know kuti this brand mapillars ayo ari pamarriage, so the only thing they attack is marriage. That's why vachingotaura zvokuti Mhofu Madam Boss, that's what they say. Havana chimwe. If you check 3/4 yevanhu vanotataka, they want to destroy the marriage because they know kuti ndo pane foundation. Even my rivals, those who want to imitate, they also want to chaga, they struggle kuti vaitewo our marriages so that they compete with us, because they know kuti once vane marriage vakukwanisa kukombita neMadam Boss brand because ndo pane foundation yaro. So zvakataurika izvozvo zvakawandisa, ndo zvimwe zvandataura izvi zviri kunyanya kutaura about Madam Boss. Vamwe vanoti uri kuchengetwa nemukadzi kana kuti unotongwa, ndikati isusu this is a family brand. Saka who is looking after who? Kuchengetwa kana ari mukadzi wacho ari wangu, is there anything wrong? She is my wife and I made her who she is, so I'm enjoying the fruits.
So who makes the decisions? Who calls the shots? Because so yes, you talk about Madam Boss and it's a family brand, right? But when people are engaging or when the consumer is looking, Argona Tyra,
yes.
who happens to be your wife,
yeah,
right? So when there's a phone call that's coming through, yes, Mhofu might answer the phone, but when Aru does it, when Aru talk Tyra.
Yes. Tyra is the face of the brand. So kana vanhu vachitotsvaga the Madam Boss brand. Madam Boss brand is Tyra, but Tyra to be Tyra, ane vanhu vanenge vari background. So inini, I don't think it's a big issue for me kuti when they talk about Tyra more than inini handitofanira kutotaura, because ukasvika pakambani aone muridzi wekambani, unoona mamanagers muridzi wekambani anenge atori kuseri achiita zvaari kuita kuti kambani iende kumberi, but pane vaunoona vanogara vari pafront line. That's Tyra. Tyra is the face, she's the artist, and but kuti ave zvaari ane vanhu vanenge vachitomubatsira to be who she is.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to delve into probably the most difficult challenge that he's had to face, how he's overcome it, and a conversation around advice for other men out there whose women, whose wives, partners are superstars, or in some instances are even making more money than them. You're watching Man to Man. We're back in a moment. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Man to Man. I'm your host, Hugo Ribatika. Ngoni Dzashe Mnetiwa in the studio with us. Ngoni, I'd like to explore what's been the most difficult challenge for you in your marriage to the superstar that Madam Boss is. But this is how I then overcame it, because I think we can prepare ourselves. In fact, I think it's almost difficult to prepare for the unknown. I don't know if you thought that Madam Boss, if the brand was going to be as big as it is. I mean, you're talking about 2 million followers on Facebook. That's I mean, that's a huge number.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I can say personally, it affect maybe it's what people say. Yeah, but of course, as a man, sometimes yes, unozvinzwa zvinoaffecta and zvinokanganisa, but chandinofarira ndechekuti I managed to accept and also to be strong emotionally for my family, because inini ndikabreaka down, Tyra anotobreaka even more. Saka what people said about Tyra, what people said about me, what people said about my family, ndo my challenges maomba I face, because you know, it is just something that is sensitive. People wonder about your wife or your family, vachikutukai, vachikuita say, ndo zvakanyanya affect. But in terms of me, my relationship with Tyra, hapana zvakachinja because she is Madam Boss kana muchimuona pasocial media. Mukauya kumba kwangu she is a different person anenge my wife. Akutoziva kuti kana chimadam Boss chinoperera kugedhi kana apinda muyadhi mama Mhofu pana panonzi pamunetsiwa. Akutoita zvekwamunetsiwa noti zvepasocial media. Saka imimi kwamuri ndo anokupai that picture yekuti Madam Boss vanotonga Madam Boss but havatonge kumba vanotonga pasocial media not kumba.
Let's talk about values because you raise an important issue. Andidika kuti it's almost like you're saying kuti kuden Tyra and mai varuwadzana.
Exactly.
But kana wabura kugedhi va team yekunze uko, right? How do you strike that balance? And have your values changed? What are your values? What do you think has kept the Munetsiwa family intact?
Okay. I can't say we there's not anything that has changed in terms of my values edu kana kuti angu. But zvinongoita Tyra paFacebook akabuda kuti kana tiri out kana takanopfeka mashorts takapfeka mashorts and everyone anotongopfeka mashorts. Aungaenda uswimming pool wakapfeka trousers unopfeka costume and I think zvinoenderana neoccasion yauri. But kana Tyra achienda unoona mai Munetsiwa kana gogo anoenda wakasunga zambia semurora. But kana ari pabasa kana ari dance anotopfeka nembe. Anoita traditional dance anotopfeka tumatight nenembe because vari pabasa. But kana abva pabasa we don't expect kumuona akapfeka nembe. Even kumba ndikamuti ndiri kuda kuti upfeke bum shot anopfeka because ndo zvandiri kuda inini semene. And also tichitasawo kuchinja kwaita time. Honestly pamwe pacho vanhu vanenge vachida kungonyebera kuzungaira but vanenge vachinzwisisa kuti even kudzimba dzavo everyone is doing it. Vanhu zvinhu zvachinja and dressing yedu yachinja. Taitomboshama taitombofamba tine nembe. Saka chanyanyoi bum shot ichi.
Takudzokera kuye. Ngoni, as we wrap up, your message to men who are out there who are married to women that are doing big things but are struggling. Kuti my mfana or my partner or madam varupinza back kupfura ini. What is your word to them?
Okay. My word to men is I understand a lot of men are going through that and vamwe vacharotadza kuzviendla because I have my groups andiri whereby men are complaining my wife is earning more than me and disrespect. Ukaona your wife achikudisrespect angagara iri muka yemusango. Yes, mari haichinje character yemunhu but inobuditsa zvirimo munhu. Zvinhu zvazvakavigwa nepoverty. Because poverty sometimes inoviga zvimwe zvinhu. Kana mukadzi uriwo nemari yakawanda vamwe vanova submissive not because ari kuda but pane zvaakateya. Kana mukadzi wako ari materialistic ndo panotanga kubudisa chicharacter ichocho chekuda kukunyomba. But kana mukadzi achikuda achikurespect as a man chero zvinhu zvako zvikadhakwa ndo role yake kuti iwewe udzokere paungauri. Saka if your wife is not supporting you emotionally or zvauri kuita then she was not yours in the first place. I think unenge wakatorawo mhuka musango. A real wife, a real woman anosupporta murume wake through thick and thin. Even pamaplate kana muchita mavows on the wedding zvinonzi through thick and thin. Anditika munenge muri mese zvichireva kuti murume anogona kuzomboshaya mari iwo mukadzi unogona kumbobata mari but that doesn't give you a passport yekutuka murume wako or to disrespect your husband because life ivhiri mangwana anodzokera pasame position wamudisrespecta then what. Ende zvimwe zvinhu I think tikazonyatsowana time tichazonyatsotaura the reasons why vakadzi vachizosvika ipapo. Varume vacho musashute kana mari iripo because mune tendency kuti kana mari yawanda makuda kuita tumagame muchishuta. Vakadzi vanochengeta zvinhu inside and paanozobatawo mari anorevenge. Vakadzi they are very good pakurevenge and vakadzi vakazhinji vacho irevenge. Saka varume kana zvinhu zviri right respect your wife so that mangwana she can also respect you.
Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Right, that's where we leave this week's edition of Man to Man. I'm your host, Hugo Ribatika. Been speaking to Ngwanedzashe Munetsiwa, husband of Tyra Chikocho, or Madam Boss, and pattern for us what it's like to live in the shadows, if you will, of a successful woman and how he's managed it. You want to watch the show in order to get all the answers to some of the questions that you've got. Remember, we leave no man behind on the same platform at the very same next week. Until then, goodbye.